There we go. We're live.
Cool.
I think you got it. Cool. So, how are you? So good to see you. What have you been up to?
I am really good. I'm super busy. Um, but I'm just running my business. It's like a one-man show right now and it's really fun, let me tell you. Business is not for the faint of heart, let me tell you that for sure. But
Yeah, I feel you on that. It's like being a one-man band, where you're trying to play 20
yes,
instruments at once.
yeah. I actually took on a lot of help and I don't know what to give them. So that's my biggest problem this week is trying to delegate help. I don't even know how to do that. So
Oh, I'm working on the same thing myself. It's very funny, especially during
yeah.
Mercury retrograde too. Like, what good timing.
Best time, right?
Good morning, everyone.
I sent an email the other day with member links and nobody got any links at all. So it's awesome.
Gotta love it. If you click
Yeah.
comments there in the top right corner, you can see what people are saying.
Oh, okay, good. Oh wow.
Just
Hi
say,
everybody. Hi Steph.
good
I
morning.
actually see a name that I know. Hi Jose. I know you too.
Steph
Yay.
makes his rounds. He's well known. He's got a
I love
reputation. No,
him.
I'm joking.
I gave him a
Oh,
reading
he is
recently.
lovable. Did you? Lovely.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he
Good
has
morning,
incredible
Danielle
numbers
and
actually.
Margarita and Lori and Jean and Sonia. Good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I'm sure many of you remember Tami from last time she was here, and she's also a
Hi.
member of our community, so you've probably seen her around. But for those of you who are new to this, because we've got a few new followers around, Tami, as you can read, is a numerologist, and she's very gifted with numbers.
I
So
am.
you nailed it for me last time. It was scary accurate.
Yeah, that's a good thing, right?
It is. It is. It's one of those
Yeah,
readings where you're just like, like, wow, how do I even
numbers
process this?
numbers
Amazing.
speak because they vibrate at a certain vibration, and somehow I'm in tune to that vibration. So I don't know how, but it works, and I like that. So
Indeed. And I see you've got some fur babies in the background. You're going to
yeah,
have to introduce us.
I was just gonna say I have four little kittens. And well, they're not little anymore.
Oh,
They're like 8 months old, so they look full grown. But I have four of them, and they love to walk across my computer. Right now, they're happy in the window, so hopefully they stay there. But
got some sun
we
today
have
for them.
Sunny and Moon are in the window right now. So
Oh, beautiful. Your
then
yin
we have
yang cats.
Merlin and Myra. So
You
what did
have
you
a
say?
Merlin cat as well. Wow, there's
Oh,
been quite a few Merlin cats that have made an appearance on the
oh.
podcast.
Yes. Do theirs have green eyes? Mine has
That's a
green
good
eyes.
question.
Yeah. He's very
Gotta love
special.
it. We do love the guest appearances with the cats that come on and say hello. So if they do
Yeah.
come up, that'd be fine.
Yeah. They love to walk across my computer when I'm giving readings. It's so fun.
They're like,
But
I've
that's
got some energy too to give you.
yes. I really think they like to be part of it, honestly, because even the dogs, they will scratch at the door if I close the door. They don't like to be locked out whenever I'm doing energy work. So all the animals are always around me when I'm doing it. So it's kind of cool.
They can tell when we're doing energy work, that's for sure.
Yeah, yep.
So,
So,
if you don't mind giving people a little bit of a background for us, so that way you can
okay.
hear about how you got into numbers.
Okay. So I got into numerology when I was 30 years old, which I don't care if I say how old I am. So I'm 48. I've been doing this for 18 years. And I got into it because my mom was into it my whole life. She studied it when I was a baby. And then she practiced it my whole life, kind of like an after dinner game in a way. People would come over and then she would do their numbers. And I always thought it was like really fascinating. So I begged her to teach me. And she used to always say, "Oh, you're too young. You're too young. You can't learn that." And then when I got older, she would say, "Oh, you're too immature. You can't learn that." And then finally I was like, you taught my little sister. It's time to teach me. And she still didn't want to teach me. But then I ended up moving back in with her when I was 30 for a year. So I just followed her around and I was like, "Mom, what does the 1 mean? Mom, what does the 2 mean?" And I did that for a year, and that's how I learned. And then I started practicing right away. I got this little gig in a metaphysical shop, like on the top floor. She was like, "Oh yeah, you can have a room there every Sunday." And then I started doing parties and I tried to teach it even, but I didn't even know what I was doing then, so I shouldn't have done that. But yeah, I've just been practicing forever. And for the longest time, my mom was really uncomfortable that I charge money for it because apparently you're not supposed to charge money for spiritual work. I think that that's an old, outdated belief.
I was gonna say that's very outdated
Yeah.
belief. Yes, we all need to pay to live here.
Yeah. So luckily, I have a house and I can pay for it, and that's really nice because it gives you the best reading that you can have because I'm not stressed out hating my life, So it's a good
You know,
thing.
that is definitely one of the good things, and especially if you're doing it, on a full-time basis, it is a job, and
Oh
it
God, it's
does. I mean, it is, and just Steph says, "Gypsy's got to eat too."
that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
True. No, but
exactly.
yeah, for the longest time, I couldn't figure out how to, make it into a business. And I really struggled with like being known as a numerologist. I was scared that people wouldn't take me seriously or they would look at me like I was some witch or some kook. What you probably don't know about me is my real name is Tabitha. I go by Tami as a nickname. And so when I was little, I used to get made fun of because Bewitched was a popular show. So everyone would always say, "Oh, you're a witch, twinkle your nose, move your nose," or whatever. And I used to go home crying. So anyway, so my name is Tami instead of Tabitha, but I've always been scared to be perceived as a witch. I don't think I'm scared of that anymore, but I was actually scared of that for the longest time. So I kept like moving away from numerology, and then basically it just kept coming back and there was nothing I could do about it. So I just finally embraced it because my guides were basically like, "You have no choice. This is what you're doing. This is who you are. This is what you're doing." And now that I embraced it, it's actually working. So it's good. It's a nice thing. So
It's one of those things where it's like it's a life path that sometimes can get delayed by all kinds of other lessons. We're doing
yeah,
side quests before we get to the main mission.
yeah.
You learn
I
a lot
mean,
through those side quests, though.
yeah, I mean, quite honestly, I think you have to go through a lot of shit. Like to do this kind of work, I haven't met very many people that haven't had an extremely hard life leading up to this kind of work, And I mean, I just think that you have to go through it so that you can understand and relate to people and, actually be able to help them, because it's the only way that you can feel all the sides of what people actually go through. So now when I feel things, when I'm connecting to your numbers and I feel something in you, I know what that is, because I probably went through it or I knew someone that went through it. And I think that that's kind of what's required, honestly, unfortunately. So,
I also think that many of us also had past lives as witches and healers and
oh,
and
yeah.
alchemists and all kinds of things that were, considered to be very taboo back in the day, but now we're kind of easing our way through it and making it more normal.
Yeah.
So it could be, this it's frustrating too when you're dealing with being bullied. So I'm sorry that you got, all
Oh,
that about your name. I think Tabitha is a beautiful name.
everyone loves
Like,
that name. Like every guy I've ever dated has always loved that name. I just always think, like, to me, it equals ugly. I don't know why. Like, because I got picked on, I guess. But really, honestly, I don't know. I just never related to that name. I don't feel like that's really, it just never felt like my name for some reason. I was actually supposed to be named Stella after my grandmother. And so if you can see on my back wall, it says star, like Stella means star. And so
I
my
was looking
nickname,
at that and I was curious.
yeah,
I was like, am I
yeah.
really seeing that?
I never tell anybody that, but that used to be my nickname in high school, was Star, with my friends, with my close friends. So yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. And my
We have that
granddaughter
in
is
common.
named Stella, so her name is Star now, kind of, you know. So
Well, it's all part of our incarnation plan. We do choose our names, but for whatever reason, we end up changing as a person. We change our names sometimes,
yeah,
and
yeah, totally. Oh yeah, I didn't even realize, like, I'm telling you my name is Star, like my nickname's Star and your last name is Star. I'm like not even thinking that.
that's why I laughed. I was like, yeah, we
I
have that in
know.
common. I was
Like I'm
also
not
called
even
Star.
thinking that. So
People
how
don't even
did you
believe
get
my
your
name.
last name Star?
From my ancestor, Dr. Comfort Star, who came over in the 1600s.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
all the
That's
stars
really
are
cool.
related. Apparently, I'm even related to Outlander, or what is it, Homelander? That's his name. The guy, what's his name? Because somebody asked me, they're like, "Are you related to blah blah blah?" And then I did the genealogy, and I'm like, "Oh shit, yeah, I'm related to him too." I'm
That's
related to
cool.
pretty much all the stars. It's funny. It's a weird name
That's
though. People
good.
always think it's a porn name.
Yeah,
My whole life.
I thought
My
it felt
whole
very
life since
cosmic.
16, they're like, is that a porn name? No, my sister's name is even worse. Her name is Holly, so people call her Hollywood.
Oh man, that's funny. That's good.
I gotta love it. But it's also about one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, actually, before I get off on a tangent here, was actually about Mercury retrograde, because this one seems to be quite a doozy. It's having a huge effect on people. And I was wondering if the numbers, if numerology has any explanation. Is it because it's the last one of the year and it's just kind of cleaning out all the shit that's in the air, or what?
I mean, truthfully, I wouldn't know that unless I felt into it and asked some questions. but my opinion about it would be that we are entering a new cycle. Like, we're ending a phase by ending the year and we're starting a new phase, so like energetically we're shifting from 2023, which is all about balance of the heart, and we're shifting into a lot of opportunities from the heart, so 2024 is going to like open wide up, like with decisions and opportunities and things in every direction. So I think people are just finally sitting with the fact that they feel like the ground is under their feet again, just slightly, since the pandemic. And now, like, this last kind of like, last month or so of this year, I think this shift is probably going to be a little bit hard for some people, because they're not ready to go from the world totally closed down and not even knowing if there is a hope to like, okay, now I feel like it's kind of coming back. And now all of a sudden it's going to open up and everything's going to be normal again. It's not going to be normal. Nothing's ever going to go back.
New normal, as they like to say.
New normal. But it's going to open up where you have directions again that you can go in. Like, you can actually, travel, and you can actually, spend time with people again and not really feel so scared, So I think that could be the end of the year shift that we're feeling. I don't really know how I feel about Mercury retrograde, quite honestly. I've noticed that the more I pay attention to it, the more problems I have. And the less I pay attention to it, the less problems I have. So I don't know if it's like the collective.
I only think about it when something goes wrong, because I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't know whether to blame the solar flares that have been hitting us like incessantly, or Mercury retrograde, because the weirdest things keep happening. Everything keeps breaking down. I'm getting contacted by people that I blew off like a year ago. Like, I'm just like, nope, you're not good for my life. And they're like, oh, yes, I am. Here I am again. And I'm like, no. And like, the universe is doing the double test thing, where they're just like, unbelievable.
Well, that's a good sign, though. when you're starting to recognize the pattern, because don't you have an 8 in your numbers? Like, didn't we talk about an 8?
85, yeah. I was born 85.
Yeah. So the 8 is the number of patterns. And so when you start recognizing that you're in a loop and that something is cycling around as a test, that means that you have already broken that and that it's just testing you to make sure that you are serious. So that's a good
I almost
thing.
failed. I almost failed the test. It was so close.
Yeah. Yeah, that's normal. That's actually why it does that. Because it's like, are you sure? Are you sure you don't want this in your life? Are you sure you don't like chaos? You know? Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, it was so close.
Yeah.
So I'm done with the test, I hope. Hopefully. I'm gonna manifest more flow.
You're never actually done with the tests. That if you get done with all the tests, then it's time to die because you don't have anything left.
That darn. See, that's what somebody told me the other day. They're like, my purpose is done here. And I'm like, if that was true, you wouldn't be here.
Yeah. No. If you're not experiencing anything that sucks, then you're probably not living anymore. You know, because that's the
so
whole
if everything
point.
starts going well, you might be about to die.
No, if everything goes well, that's okay. But I mean, like, you have to keep learning. You have to keep having like things test you over and over so that you are growing, you know. Otherwise you're dying, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
What else are we here for?
It was that's so true. And you never know when these tests are going to arise to you. They're really keeping us on our feet these days.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm a little bit out of sync with like the Mercury retrograde stuff because my computer broke last month. So like my internet
you got
went
it in
haywire.
the pre-shadow phase.
Yes. My internet went haywire. I was like getting kicked off my own lives when I was doing trainings, which was so fun. And I was getting kicked out of all of my readings, which was terrible. And then my computer completely just started like shutting down on me for no reason. And now it's all fixed and everything's great. And then everybody said, "Oh, hey, we're in Mercury retrograde." I was like, "Oh, crap."
She's like, "I already did that."
I'm hoping it's over. I think it's over. So yeah, I already did it. I think I'm a little bit ahead of it, which I hope
that's what I'm just gonna tell everybody. Okay, that's right. My Mercury ended today. Everything is good now.
Yeah. I'm not doing that anymore. Well, that's like how I feel about aging. I don't do that. I don't believe in that. You know, so like if you don't believe in it, it can't affect you, right?
Love that. Exactly.
Yeah.
Mind over matter. Absolutely.
Yes.
So, is there a way that we could do maybe a collective reading where we could get before we get into the little ones, or how do you want to approach this today?
What do you mean by?
Because you do realize as soon as we start asking birthdays here, see, Erin is already putting her birthday down. They know what's coming.
Yeah, they're smart. They're smart. They know. Okay, so I don't know how to do a collective reading. Like, what do you mean?
Well,
like,
let's maybe we could just start going. I'm trying to think of how we could do this. All right, we'll start with Erin as an example because Erin was very smart and put her date of birth up there. You want to? Well,
okay. I have an almost blank sheet, so I have lots of room, and I have more blank sheets here, so we can do as many as we can get to. So okay, so what was Erin?
We've already got 20 birthdays here. It's going so fast I can't even see. Hang on.
That's good.
This is what I mean. Like, I don't know if this is gonna work this way.
So
Daniel
what you
was
should
born on
do?
111. What? That's a cool.
What you should do is you should just pick people that you feel called to, because then I'll know who to do.
All right, I'm totally just gonna do eeny, meeny, miny, mo, you guys. If you get picked, it's the universe that picked you because it wasn't me. All right, Erin though has to be first because Erin knew the assignment. Erin
did it.
Erin understood the assignment perfectly.
That's right.
Did you get her birthday?
Yeah, 8/24/81. So I'm just gonna put it in, and I'm gonna tell you before I start how I do it. So I do these mini readings like this every Friday in my Facebook group. And basically what I do is I put them in the chart. So I'll show you the chart. I don't know if you guys will be able to see them, but these are basically just charts. I'll explain the chart a little bit too. Let me write out her whole chart.
Hold on with the birthdays, guys. Hold on. Y'all are putting so many birthdays up here. I can't. It's just disappearing.
Okay. So, okay. So I'm going to show you Erin's chart and I'm going to explain it a little bit. Okay. Let me get it in front of the camera. Okay. Can you see it? Can you see it, Laura?
Yes, I can, honey. There's a 25 in there. I can see it.
Sorry, it's kind of going like in and out of focus. So I'm going to try and hold it up against it. Okay. So these are the three.
Oh, there's a 22. Yeah.
Does that make sense? Okay.
Yes.
So these are the three aspects of being human: the spiritual, the mental, and the physical. And then anything that is in the spiritual and the mental. Sorry, I'm shaking. I'm not really shaking. I have it against my computer and it's kind of moving. Anyway,
you're fine. We can see.
So the spiritual and the mental are your superpowers or your gifts for this lifetime. Anything that's in the physical, those are the obstacles that get in your way. This is not the best example for this. The physical and the spiritual and mental are always in direct opposition because the physical actually grows you into what you're going to be. And then anything that's in this column, these are your goals for this lifetime. And the one that is circled is your main goal for this lifetime. Okay, so you can see in Erin's chart that there's nothing in the spiritual and nothing in the mental. It looks like she just has a whole lot of problems, okay? But that's not really true. What's really true is
she's human, you know?
She's very human, actually. But yeah, when you don't have anything in a whole row, what that means is not that you have never worked on that. That actually means the opposite, that you've already completed it. So she's already stacked on her spiritual and mental. She's already done with that and mastered those. So she has all of those superpowers and she's just working on her physical now. So she's working on a lot of lessons. Hang on one second. Hey. Yeah, the keys are on my door right there. Okay, sorry. No, you're fine. Have a good day. Thank you. Sorry, my daughter's leaving for work. Okay, so I'm going to explain a little bit about how numerology works before I start. This is what I do before all of my readings. So numerology is basically the study of numbers and how they apply to your life. The idea is that we reincarnate many times, and we do that because we're trying to learn all the aspects of what it is to be human. And we're trying to learn what it is to exist with other souls that are being human with us. Okay, so we're trying to learn about us, but we're trying to learn about how to interact with other people like us. So we reincarnate all these times, and every time that we do that, we make a new plan, and that plan is recorded into our birthday. And then basically, I always say, like, this is not to be considered a psychic reading, although there is a psychic element. But really, it's a remembrance type reading where I'm telling you your plans for this life. So what it feels like is like I'm telling you something that you remember, but you don't remember when you knew it or when you forgot it. So it's kind of an odd feeling where it feels true, but you don't know why it feels true. And then there is a psychic element because I do channel messages from my guides and from your guides when I connect to the energy. So if there's any messages in the moment, those are usually me channeling. You can't really tell because nothing changes, but I can tell, and I will tell you when that happens. But yeah, so that's basically how I do this. And when it comes to the mini readings, I literally just look at what stands out, you know, like because my guides actually highlight things for me. I don't know why, like that's always been my way that they highlight things. And then like I know who wants to talk. Like also the numbers kind of jump up and down, which sounds weird, but they do. So yeah, so that's what I do. Do you have any questions about that, Laura? Like, does that all make sense?
I will have questions, I'm sure, as we go through. So I'll ask them as we go through.
Okay.
Perfect.
So what stands out to me with Erin is that she has a 22 in the physical. She also has a 22 as her life purpose number. The 22 is the Aquarian age child or the golden age child. This is someone who is here just for this time. This is someone who fought for their place to get here and really just wanted to be here, incarnated at this time, so that we could know, so that you could see what's going to happen when they try to lift the veil. So like right now, that's what we're working toward, is we're working toward awareness of who we are, why we're here, and that we're powerful creators, And so this time period is really important because it's never happened on Earth before, so we're leading up to this time. And you are someone who came just to see this happen. So you're going to be someone who cares a lot about nature. You're going to be someone who cares a lot about, like traveling and having fun and really experiencing. Like you're a full out experiencer. You're also a master manifester. So those are the things that stand out to me. That's not everything, but that's like a little piece. So.
No, that's perfect. That was perfect. A mini reading. That's what we're trying to do here. Let's do one for Whitney.
Okay.
That's Whitney.
I know.
She's got a cool number. That's why I picked her birthday. 1988.
Okay, so 624.
She's got double eights, Whitney.
Well, Aaron had double eights too. So we already have a pattern. So there's this thing that happens every week on my lives where I always have a series of numbers that are the same. It's so weird. So we're already starting that today, where we have a 2, a 4, and 2 8s. And this one has a 6 though. So the only difference between Whitney and Aaron, the only big difference that I can see right away, is that Whitney is here to make the world a better place for her having been here. So like she's going to have a very strong desire to do that. Whereas Erin is more like the experiencer of this time. She's like kind of like running through life with her hands out naked, like that's kind of more her thing. And Whitney is like here because she's trying to make an impact on this time. So those are the big differences.
Can you explain how you figure out your number?
Yeah. Okay. So I can
people wanted to do their numbers.
Yeah. So, well, I don't know how easy that is to explain, but I will show you. Okay. So basically I put the numbers in the chart. Okay. So this is Whitney's. I put the numbers right up here, and then I put them all in the chart, and then they add up over here. The only place I add them are here. Anytime that there is a number in one of the spots, like in the chart, in the main part of the chart, this is the main part, it means whatever it means. Whenever there's a double, it means double that meaning, and then sometimes has like an extra meaning. Like these double 8s here, they mean all the things that the 8 means, but then they also mean a 16 because they add up to a 16, which means that she has times. So her and it's
She's
funny, the one
22.
right next to her has 8s too.
Wow.
So Whitney and Aaron both have that double 8 that makes a 16. That 16 says these are people who go through depression. These are people who have times where they're not okay, and when they're not okay, they need to seek nature. So a lot of times when I feel that in someone's numbers, I will actually feel into it, and my guides will show me a picture. And like sometimes they'll show me the ocean, or they'll show me the woods, or they'll show me a meadow. They'll show me what kind of nature heals that person. But basically, it's just you should know that going into nature heals you. So like Whitney and Aaron, anytime you're not okay, you need to go into nature, even if that means just taking off your shoes in your backyard and just standing there, because you need the earth so bad, because that's what makes you become you again. So that's whenever you're not okay. And also Whitney is also I added her numbers wrong. Sorry, it was not 22 at the bottom, it was 29. I'm like, why did I add that wrong? Because I wasn't even thinking when I did it. Anyway, both of them have that 22 though, which means that they're the golden age child or the Aquarian age child, which is the time that we're in.
22? I can't remember. Pretty sure I was a 22 as well.
Yeah, you had a 22 as well, because I remember talking about this.
Yeah.
Actually, do you want me to write your numbers out so I can just reference them as we go?
Yeah, cool. 51385.
51385. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So I immediately disconnect from numbers. I always like tell people, I'm like people think that I remember people's numbers all the time. I don't remember any number.
I don't know how you could remember any people's numbers. That would be
I actually
clairvoyant
disconnect
if you could.
The only people that I remember are people that stand out a lot to me, like Steph. Steph has really incredible numbers, and Jose, the two people that are on here. That I
was just looking at Jose's number. Let's do Jose next, because look at that number, you guys.
Jose has incredible numbers.
I was literally just staring at that number, Jose. I thought you were going to be picked either way if she hadn't messaged you, because I was curious about those numbers.
Funny. Okay,
so of course you mentioned him.
So Jose is one of my favorite people. Okay. Him and his wife Laura, they're like twin flames, and they're the most
his wife's name is Laura.
Star. I meant Star, not Laura. I'm sorry. Her name is Star. I said it wrong.
The synchronicities are getting confusing.
I know,
too many.
Anyway, Jose and Star. So
yeah, you got his down.
So this is what happened. Okay. I had Steph's. So first of all, I asked my guides a question. Okay. This is what always happens. Oh, and I have to find this paper. Hang on. I'm going to find it while I'm talking. So I asked my guides a question because I wanted to understand what happens if you have like a whole bunch of sevens, because somebody was just talking to me about that like that week. And I was like, oh, I wonder what that would feel like. So like the only way I can feel it is if I see it. Okay. So I got Steph that day, and I did his numbers, and he had 3 7s and like 2s, I think. I don't remember exactly, but I think it was 2s. And the whole time I was talking to him, I was like, oh, I wonder what it would be like if he had 1s instead of 2s. And then literally when I got off the Zoom with him, I got on with Jose, and he had the exact same numbers, but with the 1s.
But with 1s.
Yeah, which is just crazy. I can't find my little paper. So I have this paper that I drew because of Steph. He sent me a picture. Anyway, I don't know where it is. Sorry. I have this is my stack of to-do lists. So I have them all over. Okay, I'm sorry. What were Jose's numbers again? Tell me again. They were 7.
No. His birthday was 11/17/77.
Okay.
I believe. Yeah. I'm scrolling back up. I'm pretty sure. 11/17/77.
So see this.
Yeah, it is. Oh, good memory.
Good job. So this is remember numbers. Okay. I don't remember them completely, but I remember how they feel. Okay. So Jose has the same life purpose as me. Like his is not as his life purpose, but his is in the mental, where mine is my whole life purpose. And what my life purpose is to gather all of my soulmates from my soul tribe, basically, which is huge. A lot of people. I'm supposed to gather them all throughout my lifetime, and I'm supposed to raise their awareness, raise their vibration, help them learn who they are and where they come from and why they're here. I'm supposed to help all of you, like all of the people in my soul tribe, which is huge, to remember who you are so that you can ascend faster, So I'm trying to help people awaken back to their plan, and then they can actually ascend a lot faster. So Jose has this same purpose. Yeah, it's a good one, right? It's a really good
purpose.
It's an extreme calling, okay? And you feel it your whole life. And so when Jose came to me, he's somebody who is a people person. He's very charismatic. He's very magnetic to people. That comes from the 7s, okay? And then he's very determined and motivated. And he's someone who is a doer, not a sayer. He's someone who gets things done, okay? So when he came to me,
Jose.
What?
I said, nice one, Jose.
Jose's so when he came to me, he said, I had some hesitation before I came to this reading. And I was like, why? And he's like, I was afraid that you were going to tell me that I had to do stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to tell you have to do stuff. It's time. It's time to step into who you are and what you're here for. And he goes, oh, I was afraid of that, because he feels this incredibly strong calling, just like I do, where it nags at you. It knocks on your door every day. It goes, get up, get up. You have to help people. Get up. You have to do it.
So he knew the validation was coming. Yes.
He knew that it was coming and he was afraid. Hi, Denise. I see you. I'm not seeing all the comments, but every time I scroll, I see a little bit. So anyway, these 3 7s, what they mean is that, they add up to a 21, which is that life purpose I just told you about, where they're trying to raise the vibration and help all their soulmates and actually gather them and help them to ascend faster, because we're all ascending soon, because we're almost done here. But the 7 is like an incredible number, because it's a number that says, it says that you are connected to divine wisdom. You're connected to your guides, and you're connected to the divine wisdom, and you can actually pull knowledge from the other side to use in this lifetime. And you can actually pull knowledge anytime you need it, So people with 7s are always pulling knowledge from the other side. So it's an amazing number. And it's amazing when you have multiple ones. So anyway, we should move on. I probably talked about Jose too much. So he's probably embarrassed now. One of my favorite people. Oh, and also, I just want to declare publicly that I think that Jose is going to end up being famous. I think he's going to write books and probably be a motivational speaker, because I was having visions.
Oh, Jose, go. Yeah.
I was having visions the whole time I did his numbers the first time. So anyway.
Let's do one with some different numbers in there. Here's JC's. Hi,
Okay.
JC.
10.
You still here, honey?
6. Okay. So
I'm just randomly picking you guys. By the way, I'm going to share your thing, actually. Where is it?
Okay.
Yep, share your link. For those of you who are interested in getting your own readings, this is where you can sign up and get one of her extensive 4-hour readings that like Steph got.
Yes, Steph and Jose were each 4 hours that day, which I don't know how I did that, because I had another reading before them. But yeah, they were just really incredible people. They're just so dynamic. Okay, so JC, a few things stand out.
Yeah?
Well, hopefully. Okay. Well, even if she's not, she can come back. But a few things stand out. So you are completely stacked on the spiritual. You're going to have a spiritual awakening if you haven't had that yet. You are someone who's here to make the world a better place for you, having been here. And you are someone who is on an optional last life. Okay, so what that means is that I see a lot of people that are on their last lives. I see a lot of people that are on bonus lives. Okay, you specifically are on an optional last life. And what that means is that you came here with a huge purpose. Oh, sorry, you're also a visionary. I should tell you that. That's a big deal. So you are someone who is here with a very big purpose. You came here to do very big things in this lifetime and to literally change the world doing them. That's the whole reason you're having a spiritual awakening at some point in your life, which hopefully you've already gone through. But you are here with this huge purpose, and you kind of gave yourself a backup plan where you're like, it might be too big for me. I'm not sure if I can handle it. And so if I don't do it, I'm going to just come back and try again a little bit different. And so, so you may be on your last life, or you may decide to come back again. And just, to let you know how common this is. It's not very common to be on an optional last life. It does show up, but it's not super common. But I will say that I was told by my guides recently, like within the last year, that I have attempted this plan, the same one I'm doing now, like 3 times. So it is something that happens when you have a really big purpose. It's very, very scary. And so you constantly feel your whole life that you're supposed to do something really big, and you end up like getting very scared of it. So if that happens, don't worry, like try and step up if you can, but if you can't, it's okay. Like it's okay. Because
She
you
said that
will.
resonates so much.
Good. Good. Okay. So I'm ready for the
Let's
next
do
one.
Suzanne. I remember Suzanne posted hers earlier. There we go. Suzanne, I saw you were one of the first ones earlier. Why not?
9/14/66. Okay, so Suzanne's also a visionary. So since that's coming up a lot, I should talk about it. So the visionary, okay, and Suzanne, you're on your last life, okay? So whatever you're doing in this life is also really big. You're going to do something bigger than normal. I always say that people like to go out with a bang, kind of. So whenever I see last lives, a lot of times they are visionaries. Hang on. I'm trying to not talk over writing it so that I don't mess up adding it. So, okay. All right, so I got it. One time I added some girl's numbers wrong, and she got this number, and I was like, oh my goodness, did you ever have a really bad thing happen to you? And she's like, yeah, I had to relearn how to walk again. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's crazy. And we're talking about it. And then I realized I added her numbers wrong. And I was like, oh shit, you don't even have that. And then she goes, well, I guess we were supposed to talk about it. So it's just crazy.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yes, the guides were pointing it out. Anyway, so Suzanne, you are the visionary. The visionary is somebody who has a 9 and a 1. I'm going to show you your chart as well. So this is Suzanne. So you have this 9. Sorry, I can't even reach it from that side. Okay, so you have this 1 and this 9. Sorry, my paper's not working.
It's okay, honey.
Anyway, like I'm trying to hold it up and it doesn't work. Anyway, so you have this 9 and this 1. The 9 is your third eye chakra. I always try to tell you guys your chakras when I'm doing readings, because I want you to know when you're in balance and when you're out of balance where to focus. Okay. So the 9 is the third eye chakra. It means you're very psychic. It means that you have your psychic abilities turned on. The 1 is your crown chakra. That is your direct connection to God, source, the angels, your higher self, the higher power. Okay. So when you combine, and the 1 is all about motivate. You are someone who is determined to be yourself and an individual. You won't be told what to do or how to do it. You are very motivated, very determined. You are very much a leader. You're in charge all the time. Okay. So when you take the 1 and you put it with a 9, you have the vision for the future. Like you can see in your head something that could work. And then you have the 1. So you're somebody who can actually make that happen. So like you're somebody who not only sees it, but makes it happen. And then you have these double 6s that say, that you want to make the world a better place for you having been here. So you're going to hear me say that a lot, because anytime someone has a 6, it's really important for me to acknowledge that for them, because like that's what the guides are always telling me. They're like, don't ever forget to acknowledge that for somebody, because they need that validation, because 6s are very tender souls. They're very gentle hearted and they get their feelings hurt very easily, and the world kind of swallows them a little bit. So it's really important for me to always say, hey, so you have this mission and you're not wrong. Like it is your mission and you are supposed to do it. So, so whatever you do, you also have this 4. Sorry, I can't help it. Your numbers are really cool. You have this 4 that says that you're probably a traveler. You're somebody who does things in many, many directions. And a lot of times when I see that show up in the goal column, like Laura, yours is there. Suzanne, yours is the physical traveler. Laura, yours is the spiritual traveler. Okay, so you're also the physical traveler, but you're more a spiritual traveler. Okay, So
I choose spiritual locations, so that makes sense.
yeah, yeah. Yep, you're traveling for spiritual reasons, so it's good.
Yeah.
But Suzanne, the only way that you do not do something really big in this life is if somebody talks you out of it. So that's really important for me to tell the visionary. The visionary is anyone that has a 9 and a 1, which is pretty common these days because a lot of us have it. So the only way that the visionary doesn't do something very big with their life is if the people in their life tell them that it's stupid or that they shouldn't do it, you know. Otherwise, you're going to do so many big things. You're going to do really cool things. So
don't let that Mr. Stupid talk you out of it, Steph.
That's right.
Nope.
Yeah.
Love it. I wanted to scroll up and do Deanne's. I saw your comment, Deanne. There we go.
Okay. So
Deanne's going through some big changes and she'd like some guidance. So it's 6th of February, which is funny. It's one day after my little guy. Aiden's birthday is 5th of Feb. She's born in 1967.
Okay. Okay, so 2/6/67. Okay, so this is also someone on an optional last life. This is also someone with the life purpose that I was saying that I have, that Jose has. Like this is someone who is gathering all of their soulmates because they're trying to raise consciousness. They're trying to help people remember who they are and why they're here. I can tell that you're going through hard times because that's a very strong mission. It's a very big calling and it's a very intimidating calling. And it feels like you're constantly asked to be bigger than you are. So, like, you're always asked to be a voice everywhere and you don't feel like you're a voice for yourself. So, it's very hard. You also have a head and heart battle where your head is always telling you, oh, that doesn't make sense. And then your heart is always telling you, but this feels right. Let your heart win. Let your heart always win that battle. Okay. It's really important that you do not go with your head because your head doesn't know what it's talking about. You know, like your mental will keep you stuck and it will always tell you that things don't make sense and this isn't logical and this is not what people want. The truth is you're very spiritually guided. So you are someone that is on a spiritual path. It's not supposed to make sense. Like you are supposed to be following your heart. You may not understand that because you have a lot of confusion around your emotions, but that is what you're here to do. So hopefully that makes sense.
She said absolute truth. So I'm guessing that resonates.
Good. Okay.
Let's do one for a dude. Let's find a dude. Hi, Matt. I see Matt's. Let's do Matt's. Matt's got some zeros in there. Do you use the zeros?
I do not use the zeros unless I'm doing, if I'm doing repeating numbers, then I would use zeros. So if you're doing repeating numbers or you're trying to tell a story from numbers, then a 0 is always an ending and a beginning. But when it's in a chart, you wouldn't use it because it doesn't make sense. Like it doesn't do anything in your chart. Well, it probably does, but I don't know what. So like that's the truth is I don't know what. Okay. So Matt, you're another person that has some like real battles going on. Okay. You have okay. So I'm just going to tell you a few things about yours. So you are on your last life, which makes sense. Because you are also having a twin flame connection in this lifetime. You only meet with your you only incarnate with your twin flame when it is a first life, a last life, or a really difficult life. So you are here meeting with your twin flame this time. I would say probably because they're carrying you home, you know, because you're someone who's struggling in this life. So you have this 8, which is a really hard number. The 8 says that you are a very old soul. You've been here many times. You are someone who is tired of the experience being so hard. Your 8 is the humanitarian number. So it says that you see the injustice in the world and it really bothers you. You are someone who constantly is trying to help people, but what you need to know, this is from your guides, is that you can't help people by joining them. So as soon as you can get that through your head, you are going to rise above that feeling. Okay. But right now, you are trying to join people in their pain. I actually feel pain in my heart when I say this. You're trying to join people in their pain because you don't want anyone to suffer, and you would almost trade with them because you would take their suffering if you could. That is not how you help people. You help people by helping yourself rise above. And as soon as you can rise above, then you can help as many people as you want. If you join
Live
them,
by example. Yes.
suffer as well. So
Awesome.
you're going to step out of your suffering when you stop trying to join the suffering and realize that you can only help by rising above it. So that's a big deal for you, actually. Also,
yeah, Matt, that's a big mission.
Yeah. Also, Matt, you're always okay. So I know you don't feel that way, but you're always okay. You're someone who is always okay. You will always be okay. You're very, very, very guided. So, okay.
Beautiful. Let's do one for Bailey. Hi, honey. I see you're going through some stuff. Let's help Bailey. Her birthday is right before mine, 5/12/97.
Nice. Okay, I just need to get a new paper. Ran out of spots. Okay, so Bailey is 5/12/97. And what does she say? She's so lost?
She's lost in life right now, she says.
Okay. Well, let's see if we can see why.
By the way, Matt says every word she speaks is bang on.
Oh, good. I like when that works. No, it's always like that. I question it. Nobody else does. Like, I always go, I don't know how I know these things. I don't really know them. Your guys.
Just trust it.
Yeah. Okay, Bailey, I see your pain. All right. So I'm just going to read this to you because I don't like paraphrasing sometimes when it's important. Okay, so this is my book. This is the only book that I have for numerology. This is just my, notes from what my mom taught me. So this is what I have. Everything else comes from my guides. But so you have this number that says you are here to seek guidance to get on the right path and to not let your emotions rule you. The reason why this number is standing out so much to me when you say that you are lost is because you are somebody that has a lot of trouble with your own emotions. You're somebody who does not understand yourself, and you're someone who you have a high level of self-doubt. You have this like overarching feeling of self-doubt. You are an amazing person, like by a lot. Like you are a teacher, you are a guide, you are extremely connected. You are well connected to source energy. You are someone who channels source energy. You're also a channel with your guides. You're also a teacher. You're also here on your last life. You're a visionary. I mean, you've got the whole thing. Like you're really, really stacked here.
No wonder no wonder she's having a tough time with all that.
She's having a tough time because she also has a problem with romance. Okay, so like she has a twin flame union in this lifetime, and she's someone who's a hopeless romantic. So she's going to spend her whole life looking for that person, even if she knows who it is, because we don't always know who it is. We don't always know that we know who it is. Okay, but you're going to have this feeling your whole life where you're like, where is he or she or whoever, but you're going to go, where is this person? It's going to be this, like, it just goes on forever and you can't ever get it to stop. So that's one of the problems. But then also you're someone who doubts yourself. You're a people pleaser. Just so many things. Like there's so many things where you have emotional turmoil. You rise above that when you start believing in yourself, when you start believing that you do know, because you're a visionary. You do know the right way. You do know what's going to happen. You also have access to your path. So like you're someone who stayed in contact with your plan. So like you can tap right into that if you just meditate a little bit. But you're somebody who is so very solid. You just don't feel that way because you have so much self-doubt. You have to really work on your self-doubt. That's your big problem. And you have to really work on trusting yourself because you're somebody who keeps letting yourself down. And then you hold yourself to these really high, what you're doing first is you're holding yourself to a very high standard that's not even possible. It's not human to hold yourself to that high standard. It's not humanly possible. And then you're getting really let down by it. And you're feeling like you're breaking your own heart, so you have to just chill out with that. You're doing too much of that. That's what I'm feeling. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense. I don't know.
Hope it gets easier for you, Bailey.
I hope it gets easier for you too.
All right. I'm going to scroll back up towards the beginning and see who else has been waiting this long. Let's do another one for a dude. How about you, Dale? Are you still around, Dale? Let's see.
Okay.
31087.
Okay. Deal.
Trying to get somebody that's been waiting a while.
Yeah, good.
Bailey says that was so spot on, by the way.
Okay, good.
Awesome.
Good.
Yep, Dale's here. Perfect, Dale. You're next.
Okay, we're seeing a lot of optional last lives, which I say, oh, that's not that common.
Hear it. They're like, oh, thank God.
It's like now it's so common. Okay, so all right, so I'm going to talk about something totally different with yours, Dale. So you have this 3, okay? So the 3 is all about balance. It's about balance of all the chakras. So it's not just one chakra, it's all the main 7. You are somebody who cares very much about balance, and you're somebody who is working on balance your whole life. This is something that, sorry, I just saw something in your chart that's I didn't realize. Anyway, it's fine. Sorry, the guides are saying something. So I'm like, what? And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So anyway, you are someone who's all about balance. You are someone who is, you are someone who, I can't even talk about it now. I'm sorry. I can't even talk about that. Okay. So your guides want me to talk to you about something else. So you are an avatar. I hate talking about avatars, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. You are an avatar. When I say you're on an optional last life, it's because you're on a bonus life. Okay. So you have already completed everything. You came back literally just for humanity to help. You're somebody who basically ascended. Yeah. You are a very generous person, very selfless, but people don't know that about you in this lifetime. Okay. You're very misunderstood. You're probably the black sheep. You are someone who's here to break generational curses or generational trauma. You're working on that very solidly, so your life is not easy. You're totally okay, though, so don't worry about that. You're going to be okay. You're not going to feel like you're okay, but you're okay. But you're an avatar. Okay, so an avatar is somebody who has completed all of their learning. They understand all of the aspects of what it is to be human. They go and they ascend to the next level, to the other side. And then they look at their family and friends and they say, well, you know what? I'm going to come back just to help, just to be a helper. Now, this is the part I don't like about avatars. You know what? I'm going to talk about the good parts first. Okay. So an avatar is always good looking, just about. They're always very charismatic. There are people who, when they walk in the room, everybody turns. They are the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful souls. They are the ones that feel like love. People don't recognize that, okay? But they feel it on a soul level, okay? The only people that really recognize that are people that are really higher vibration. Like a lot of spiritual people will recognize who you really are. But a lot of normal people, I don't know what to call them, people who are not awakened, they will not recognize who you are, and they will bully you. They won't treat you right. Okay, so now this is the part I don't like about avatars. Okay, so avatars are amazing, amazing people. I've always known that. Almost every family has an avatar. The avatar is the glue. It is the center of the family. They are the ones that keep the family together. And a family does not stay together without an avatar. So most families have them. The avatar is usually the one who chooses a very hard road. And that's because they know that this is just a little blip in the amount of eternity that we have, so they know that it doesn't actually matter on a soul level. That you don't know that on a conscious level. Okay, on a conscious level, you're probably not having the best life. I mean, well, maybe you are. It's not every avatar, but a lot of avatars choose really hard jobs. They choose to be drug addicts or alcoholics or homeless people or prostitutes, or they choose the very hard things. And they do that because they are the ones that impact people the most. They teach people what they don't want to be, mostly. Sometimes the avatar is the really amazing person in the family that gets all the accolades, but that's really rare. And I don't see that very often. Usually the avatar is the opposite. It's the one that the family has to come together to help all the time. And just to give you an example, my dad is our avatar and he's a homeless person. So we've always had to come together to help him. He also has health problems, I've always known a lot of avatars, and they usually pick very hard jobs, and they usually are so misunderstood. Nobody knows that they are these beautiful, beautiful souls. But I promise you, on the other side, we all know. When we get to the end of this life, everybody will know what you did. Everybody will know where your heart was, and you won't be so misunderstood forever, so hopefully that's some, help. I don't know, but avatars are so greatly misunderstood. So
Jesus was an avatar, Steph says.
Oh, well, that would make sense, right?
That's a good example. Yes.
Yeah.
They're talking a little bit about twin flames in the comments. My understanding of a twin flame is that it's the same soul as you, just a different spark. So it's the same oversoul, higher self, but two incarnations that are happening at the same time in the same incarnation base. Well, I should say in the same relative space. Anyway,
So
do you have a different opinion on that?
Yeah, I was going to say that's not my understanding. I'm not saying I know, because actually I'm just going to tell you what I was told. I was told during my QHHT session that, so I asked if my twin flame was who I thought he was. And my higher self said, yes, but you don't really understand quite fully what a twin flame is. So I have an understanding, but it's not quite right. It's a little bit off, and I don't know how exactly. I'm going to ask again on my next QHHT. Anyway, so this is my understanding. This was channeled when I was writing a book about twin flames, when my twin flame died. Okay, so basically a soul is created, one soul is created. It is split into two. It is split into a male energy and a female energy. That male and female energy basically are the same soul, just two halves of the same soul. So they are equal and opposite halves of the same soul. They literally go through time and space together to have experiences, both male and female, to collect as much growth for the soul as they can. So when we incarnate in a human form, we are always still a male and a female energy. We're not always a male and female body. Okay, so that's why two men can be together, two women can be together. They can still be twin flames. I can't ever tell you who your twin flame is. That is one question I get asked all the time. I don't know who your twin flame is. That is not something. Sorry, I have a cat. I have a cat jumping up. This is Sunny. Anyway, I cannot tell you who your twin flame is ever. The only reason I can say that to Jose and Star is because it's pretty obvious with them. Every once in a while, I can look at. I do relationship readings, and I can look at your charts side by side, and I can see if you have the same mission. And then I'll be like, oh, you're probably twin flames, but I technically don't know that. And I have been told many times already that's not my job to know. I've also been told it doesn't matter. Um, the reason why, if it comes up in your chart, I will tell you that it comes up in your chart is because I know how it feels to have a twin flame union in your chart. It's very painful. Like it's something that you go through your whole life where you're searching and you're searching for this person and you don't even know who they are when you meet them. So like I didn't know who my twin flame was until the day after he died. So that was really disappointing for me. And so I tell people that they have the twin flame union because I want you to understand that yes, you're going to meet them, but also no, it doesn't matter. So like you don't always stay with them. You don't usually stay with them. Sometimes you do. But a lot of times the twin flame union in human form is really only to grow you both so you can ascend faster. Like my twin flame came as an avatar and he came back basically just to help me get over there, like just get done.
Right.
Because I have been repeating the same life for like at least 3 lives now. So like I've been not stepping up. And he just came back to say, hey, it's time. Look, like we're trying to ascend here and you're holding us up. Like that's basically it. And we didn't work out, but we spent a lifetime being best friends, and now we have a great relationship from the other side, which is kind of odd, but true. But anyway, your twin flame is always the equal and opposite half of you. This is somebody who is good at everything that you're bad at and bad at everything that you're good at. Hopefully I said that right. Sometimes I say it backwards. This is somebody that it's not always harmonious with. It's someone that actually triggers you a lot because when they look at you, they see all of you. They don't see part of you like everybody else. It's a very different relationship. When you look at each other, you may not know who each other is, but you know that it's different than any other relationship you've ever felt. And that's because you're looking right into your own soul. And that person knows all about you without saying anything. They don't even have to say it. They don't even have to consciously know it, but your soul knows it. And it's very intimidating and it's very confronting. For me, I ran from it most of my life. It was very hard for me. I loved him completely. And I knew that he loved me completely from the day that we met, I think. But like the whole time that we were together, it was like we were good when we were together, but I was always running from him. I was always telling him he was ridiculous because he had these big feelings and he would say, don't you know we're supposed to be together and, whatever. And I would look at him like he was crazy because I knew it was true, but it scared me, like, because he saw me and I was so used to hiding. Like you don't realize how much you hide when you're a human. Like you hide through all these layers. And if somebody really sees you, that's very, very confronting. And I was too young to understand it, So anyway, people have twin flame unions. A lot of people have them right now because we're on our last lives, a lot of us. But it's a very confronting feeling. So you may not stay with them. Sometimes, depending on how it shows up in your chart, it can be a beautiful union or it can be a very toxic union. But a lot of times you won't stay with them either way because it's very confronting and it's very difficult and it's not the harmonious thing that you think it should be, basically. And apparently
it's so funny because this is the thing about hypnosis is that people can have their soul guides the same question and you're going to get 2 entirely different answers.
Yeah.
And it's funny, and it just is what it is. Sometimes, it's just funny. Because for example, I was told, because there was this one couple who passed away about 6 weeks apart. And their daughter went for a QHHT session. I shouldn't even say those words. Went for a hypnosis session. And And she asked about her parents, and they were twin flames. That they said they were twin souls. That in many cases that twin souls are actually quite rare, and that that most of the time when they have a twin flame, it's because they are going through a very hard life and they need backup. Like they need somebody who's going to be there with them through everything. And they said one of the best ways to identify a twin flame relationship is when you meet young, you spend your whole lives together, and then you die just a few days apart. So and that's entirely different to what you're telling me, which I don't think it's wrong. I don't think either one is wrong. I think that twin flame relationships can be, it can be a broad spectrum of things. And I don't feel like one definition fits all, because all relationships are complicated. All, sometimes it's karmic, sometimes it's because you need them there. I think that it's kind of like what you decide it's going to be, how you make it, in between lives, and how you're going to establish that relationship.
Yeah.
There were a couple. So go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, one of the things that he showed me after he died, he started coming and taking me with him to show me things. And he showed me memories of us picking our kids and things, like making this life plan together. The truth is that there is no right answer. There is no wrong answer.
Exactly.
Like, when it comes to this stuff, it's an interpretation either way, because we're not firsthand knowing right now. It's like always going to be just an interpretation, and that's why I think my higher self said, I have it close, but not quite right, and I'm fine with that.
That's how I feel about everything. I don't personally believe there's any experts on this whole planet. I don't think. Human, you only get a certain amount of time. I don't think you can become an expert in anything during one incarnation.
I agree completely. Okay, what were you saying about somebody else?
I was gonna go back and do Janet's birthday, because Janet's got some 5s in there, and they were asking for some 5s. Where is it? I'm scrolling up, Janet. You want to post it again? You've posted your birthday like 3 times, honey. I know you've been very patient. So what is it again?
Because there's so many.
I know. Whenever we do readings like this, we end up getting triple the amount of comments we would normally.
Yeah. I do see a lot of names.
Yes, there it is. Janet had the 2s and the 9-5. That's right. 2/22/95. Remember, guys, that if you guys have any similar birthdays, and if any of this resonates, it can also be for you too. So just remember that if a message resonates, it's meant for you to hear it.
Absolutely. And when you have the same numbers as someone else, they mean the same thing. So you're going to have the same, like I would tell you the same thing. Yeah. So. Okay.
I agree with you completely, Shauna. Yeah, we have the same opinions on that.
Okay, so Janet she's on her last life. Okay, so I will talk about the 5 because you were talking about the 5. Okay, so the 5 is the parent or the teacher. This is somebody who must be a parent or a teacher in this lifetime. A lot of times, this will be a parent. The way that hers shows up, I would probably guess that she's a parent, but I don't usually guess that if I don't, I don't know that. So I don't usually guess it, but the way that hers shows up, she's either an active teacher or a parent being the best teacher, So this number also comes with so basically there's 2 numbers that give you more power, like more power over this lifetime than other numbers. So the 5 gives you access to your plan. So your plan is basically what I'm telling you. That's your birthday, So Janet, you're someone who has more access to your plan than normal. Laurie, you have that as well. Laurie, you really have that. Okay. And then you also have the 9, which is the 3rd eye, and that is the ability to see the future somehow. So you either see it, touch it, taste it, or feel it. So you are somebody who has a little bit of an edge because you see the future. So you have both. Those are the only two numbers that give you like that extra control in this lifetime, where you're not just completely veiled. You're partially veiled. Like, well, you're partially unveiled actually. You're not, it's less veiled. It's not like all the way, you know. You are someone that could meditate to see more of your map if you wanted to. And the 5 is also the sacral chakra or the womb chakra. It shows up the same for men as it does for women. It's always the nurturer. It's always somebody who is a people pleaser, but depending on the other numbers, of course, depends on the severity of that, you know. But the 5 is always the people pleaser when I look at it, usually, unless they have something that says that they really aren't, which you don't. I think you're a people pleaser. And then you have these 3 2s that make a 6. So that 6 showing up on the physical, that's kind of a different place than it usually shows up. It means that you're making the world a better place and people can see it because it's on the physical. So like you're going to see it. It's not going to be in the background, you know, which means that that's going to give you a lot more validation in your life because you're somebody who actually needs validation because you have a high level of self-doubt. So
she says guilty.
yeah. Okay. So we can move on.
All right. Let's do a birthday one for a man. We've got so many women on here. I just want to humor some of the men today. Give me another birthday for a man. Where's Matt? Is Matt still here? Because Matt got gypped out of reading earlier, and he thought that he was reading Matt's the other one. Matt Wills, are you still here, bud?
Did we read the wrong Matt?
No. He got it confused with the other Matt. He thought he was getting a reading, but it ended up being the other Matt. If you're still here, bud.
Yeah.
James was the first one, though. James was the first fat man. There we go. March 18th, 73.
Okay. Okay, this is another avatar. I just figured I'd point that out because I see that right away.
Uh-oh, James. Hi, Matt. You're still here, bud. Okay, we'll get to you.
I hope I didn't make it sound bad. An avatar is actually...
No. No, you didn't, honey.
They're actually really incredible people. I
imagine they are. But just people who are going through a rough patch, even though they are a very beautiful soul.
They're extremely misunderstood usually. They're not always, but really usually they're the black sheep and they're the ones that get picked on and everything. So
don't worry, Christopher. I'll get you in there. Christopher really wants a reading too. I'm trying to do for some men because there's so many women in here, and the men kind of get overlooked a little. So we'll give some love to the divine masculine for a minute.
Sounds good. Okay, so James, you have the 22, which is the golden age child or the Aquarian age child. That means that you're here just for this time, like I was saying earlier. I'm not going to go over the things I said earlier because I don't want to spend time on that. You actually have 3 7s show up, just like Jose has and just like Steph has. So yours show up differently because you have just 1 7 actually that is in your chart, but then you have a 7. I'll show you. So you have a 7 in your spiritual and you have a 7 in your mental. So see how there's 3 7s there. So what that means, I'm going to talk about the 7 a little bit. The 7 is my favorite number. Okay. The 5 used to be my favorite number, but the 7 is my favorite number now by a lot. So the 7 is the throat chakra. Okay. It means that you are someone who says the right things to the right people at the right times and they hear you for the most part. You are somebody who is the mental Buddha, which means that you're very, very intelligent. You're someone who pulls past life knowledge to use in this life. You are someone who, I stop when I'm hearing messages, just so you know.
No,
like, the only time I stop is when I'm hearing messages. Okay. I'm going to hear whatever I'm supposed to be telling you. Okay. So, You are somebody who is connected to, okay, so this is what I'm being told to talk about. Okay. So there's this energy. I don't know if I talked about this last time. Did I talk about the energy field of flow? Do you know if I talked
A
about
little
that?
bit. You can go into more of it again. Just do a recap.
Okay. Well, you are connected to this energy field called flow. Okay. And it is, I always say it's right here, but I don't really know where it exists. I just feel like it exists here because we pull from there. Okay. So the energy field of flow is where the divine puts all of the new inventions and all of the new ideas and all of the new stories and all the things that are coming into humanity right now. So anybody that has sevens, they are capable of pulling right from that energy field, and they do it all the time. So you are a very analytical thinker. You're somebody who just thinks and thinks and thinks. You may have insomnia from that. You may not. I have insomnia from that. I have a 7, but sometimes when I see 3 7s, they tell me they don't have insomnia, or even 2 7s. Anyway, you are somebody who, if you're thinking and thinking and thinking, it's because you're connected to all the ideas. You're connected to creation. You're connected to the divine knowledge. And you're somebody who constantly has ideas, like really good ideas. You're like, oh, I could do this, or I could do that, or I could do this. You're also someone who has in the background, where you want to make the world a better place for you having been here, you have this 6 that shows up in the spiritual, which means that you're doing some kind of spiritual work. The 7 says that you are a spirit guide. So basically, this is something I was told recently, is that people with 7s are like spirit guides on earth. So like, we are the natural consolers, and we are the ones that are the direct channels with the guides, like with our spirit team, but also with other people's. What happens is, anytime someone needs help, your guides will be contacted to go send somebody that will help. Like they look for guides for somebody that signed up for it. So you're the natural consoler. The natural consoler is somebody who literally has a beacon of light that shoots up from the top of their head that people can see on a soul level. They don't know that they can see it, but they can see you even in a crowd. I'm going to tell you a scenario, and you're going to tell me that it happened. I always tell people this. Hopefully you'll comment and say that it happened. But this is a scenario that probably happens to you all the time. So people will come up to you, total strangers will meet you for the first time, and they will seem like they're in a hypnotic state. And they will be like telling you all about their life. They will tell you all kinds of things. And then it'll look like they kind of wake up. They'll go, oh my goodness, I don't know why I'm telling you this. I've never told anybody that before. Oh my goodness, I don't know why I trust you so much. Well, let me tell you why. like this happens.
I had $1 every time I heard that. Seriously though.
I feel like that, actually. I've had so many people do that. So that happens because you are the natural consoler. You are someone who signed up for a job for humanity to do this, to help people. And so you are a natural channel from the guides. So like the guides go, hey, my person needs some help. And then they come to your guides, and your guides say, oh, well, we're a helper, we're a guide on earth. So then they pair you up, they make your path cross. I think they do some kind of hypnosis on the person, like they put them in a trance a little bit, because they don't always know what they're saying, that's what it seems like anyway. And then they tell, yes, and then you just channel the knowledge right through you. And so what happens is, you don't think that you have the answers. Like people will come to you, and in your head you'll be like, I don't know, I've never dealt with this, I don't know how to help you. But you'll hear yourself saying the right things at the right times to the right people. That's because you're the natural consoler. As long as you never turn that off, you will always be somebody who can help people. Like you will always be someone who just naturally helps people. You always have the right answers, and it's because you are working directly with the guides. And so you can actually you can actually work on this superpower. Like you can enhance it, you can make it stronger. This is what I do. Like I have a direct connection to my guides as if they're standing right here. I mean, like they talk to me. I wouldn't say it's clear. Okay. It's not like they're talking in my head. I keep begging them to do that, but they won't do it. They finally told me why. They said I wouldn't be able to teach people how to communicate with their guides if they did that. So they won't talk in my head, but they show me pictures now and they tell me things and they put words in front of me and they do all these things. But like they used to just speak through me and I would just hear myself saying things that I wasn't thinking, but now we're on the same page where they just, I don't know what they do exactly, but they give me a feeling and then I know what to say a lot of times, or I literally, the more that I can back up and let them speak, they will just speak right through me and say the things that people need to hear. Anyway, you have that as well. Anyone with a 7 has that. The stronger your 7 is, the more that works, and the more in touch you are with it. So anyway.
Beautifully okay, I know said. That was a really beautiful reading.
Yeah, I know that was a lot, but they wanted you to know all that.
There you go, James. That was a really good one. Awesome. Oh my gosh, there's so many comments. Christopher, where are you, Christopher? Hold on. There he is. Okay, another man reading with more 7s.
And here's another avatar. Patterns going on.
They needed the validation today. There you go, Christopher. You're up.
I was really being told to talk about that because I tried to talk about something else and I couldn't. So the guides.
Well, really the funny thing is I'm the one intuitively choosing them too, and so it's like we're both kind of sinking into that message today.
Yeah, it doesn't matter
who's full of avatars. It probably
always come the way that they're supposed to because the guides always make it happen the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
It's really weird. Like anytime you think that you can't trust the guides, it's like you always find it always smacks you in the face of why they do things. Like I always go, that doesn't make any sense. And then the second I say that, they show me proof, like one thing after another. It's so funny. So
it's funny though, Carmen points it out. Why are all the men avatars?
Why are all the men avatars? I don't know. They're the strong, brave ones. No, there's lots of women avatars too. Okay, so Christopher, you have. Okay. All right, I'm going to talk about something totally different. Okay. I'm trying to hit different things because I want to cover more aspects. Okay, so
well, what numbers haven't we covered? Because I could try and find some.
Oh, we haven't covered lots of things, but I mean, I'm just trying to cover things that stand out that are different.
Awesome. So, okay, cool.
You can pick anyone you want. They'll send who needs to be done anyway. It's fine.
Joanna's asking which numbers. It's the 7s, yeah.
For the avatar?
For the avatar, yeah.
Yeah, I don't really want to say that publicly because I don't want people to self-diagnose. Like,
that's also true, yeah.
The only reason I don't there's a couple of numbers I won't tell you what they are exactly unless we're in a private reading and we're talking. And the reason why is because specifically avatars, okay? Sometimes I tell people that and they mistake it. So like I had this girl, I'm not going to say who it is because she could be watching, but there's this girl that is a friend of a friend. Okay. And I told her that she was an avatar and my friend, who's the mutual friend, has told me that she now walks around for months after that. Cause this was just a few months ago. She was at my house. And I was just doing readings, cause that's what I do. And she now walks around saying, oh yeah, I'm the selfless one. I'm the one that gave up all my, like whatever. Like she took it in a very weird way. And she now thinks that she's some kind of victim because of it. And it's so opposite of that. Like, I can't wait till she comes back because we are going to sit down and talk, But let me just tell you, first of all, there is nothing that I tell you that you are a victim of. You choose this. You choose your chart. You choose your life. You are the only person
No
that
victims.
you're going to answer to when you die. There is no heaven. There is no hell. That is not a thing. That is a human concept. That is not a thing. Please stop believing that. I had a near-death experience. I was told this. I was told very directly that I was the only one that decided whether I lived or died. I was the only one that had any say in that at all. Nobody cared whether I did or not. So that's really, really important for people to understand. You are not a victim. You are so, so, so opposite of a victim. You are the most powerful being. And please step into that. Please understand that. You guys are so powerful. We can do anything with our minds. We are so freaking incredible. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, so that's
you are source itself, you are source experiencing life through a human.
Yes, please wake up to that, guys. I need you to wake up to that. Okay, so this is what I'm going to talk about. So Christopher has double sevens, okay? And some of the other people we've dealt with today probably did too. I don't see any right now, but I think we might have. Anyway, double sevens equal a 14, okay? The 14 is the crossroads number. What that means is that you are somebody that is on the crossroads of life. And I used to think that this meant just one incident in your life, but I found that it actually applies to many incidents. You are someone who gets to the end of the road, basically, and you have to make a decision. You're not actually someone who struggles with decisions, but anyway, you get to the end of the road and you have to make a decision. You have to go right or left. These are usually big decisions. You're going to be faced with big decisions your whole life. I don't know if it's going to be all the time, but you're going to have several big decisions. They're usually like moving across the country or moving to another country or getting a divorce or things like that. They're not usually like simple decisions. Sometimes they're like, should I go to college on one side of the country or should I go to the other side? They're big decisions, life-changing decisions. Okay. You're going to get to this crossroads. And when you do, you're not going to know what to do. And this number is in your chart specifically to tell you, don't worry, because you always make the right decision. You always go the right way, even if you don't know if you go the right way. This number, so every time I see this number, the guides are always saying, please tell them this. Please tell them this, because you are somebody that struggles with these decisions. And you are somebody that thinks about it forever. Like you always think in your head, oh, what if I did this? What would have happened if I did that? Oh, what if? Okay, let me tell you something. This is directly from your guides. You couldn't have made a better decision. You couldn't have gone the other way. That was an illusion. You always chose the right way. You are living in the better part of your life. There was nothing you could have done different. Please stop beating yourself up about that. Anyone that sees a 14, I know you won't see it directly, but if you see yourself have 2 sevens, you're going to see it. But anytime I tell you that you have the crossroads number, please know that there was no other decision you could make. And please stop beating yourself up about it, because you will spend your whole life going, what if? And it's for nothing, because you always made the right decision anyway. So that is just really important whenever I see that. So that's Christopher. Hopefully that makes sense.
Said. It did. It definitely did.
Okay.
Hey Sequoia, I was gonna do you next, honey, but your comment has disappeared. Can you repost your birthday, honey? Sequoia she's been asking. She really needs one. So if you don't mind posting your birthday, honey, if you're still here. Otherwise, we'll do Matt. Matt was, yes, thank you. We'll do Matt's now while waiting for Sequoia. Matt was 05-24-90. There she is. She's still here. We'll get you next, Sequoia.
Okay, good.
Yeah, Matt's is the fifth month, 24th day, 1990.
Got it.
Thank you, JC, by the way. I was also scrolling up looking for Matt's and I couldn't find it either, so thank you. Appreciate you, JC.
So Matt is on his last life. Also, Christopher is on his last life. I forgot to say that. I think that's important to say because I think people like to know that.
I think they do too.
Once in a while, I tell someone that they're on their last life and they get sad. But I promise you,
oh, thank God, what a relief!
I'm always like, please let it be my last life. Some people don't feel that way. Okay, so Matt, you are. Let's see. I'm feeling into it to feel what stands out. So you are somebody. Okay, so this is what's standing out. So I was going to talk about one thing, but I guess I can't. Okay, so you are somebody who struggles a lot with your emotions. You also have a high level of self-doubt. We're seeing this a lot today. You are a people pleaser. You're very psychic. You're somebody who is okay, I'm just going to tell you how to do something. Okay, so this is something I do with my coaching clients, and lately I do it a lot with my numerology clients as well. I'm going to tell you how to turn around self-doubt. Okay, this is something that I practice myself, and it really, really works. This is good for every single person here because I don't even have a 2, and it works for me, but it's really good for people with 2s because you guys live with so much self-doubt, it's ridiculous. And you guys live with high anxiety and just a really hard life because of it. Okay, so this is the exercise. And some of you that have had readings with me may have had this before, or if you've done coaching with me. Okay, so basically this is what I want you to do. You are somebody who is constantly saying, I don't do anything right. I don't say the right things. I don't do the right things. What was I thinking? What am I doing? Things like that. Okay. For the next 2 weeks, I want you to listen to your thoughts in your head. I want you to hear yourself saying negative things. I don't want you to change it. I just want you to listen to it. I want you to hear yourself saying, I shouldn't have said that because now I hurt someone's feelings and I'm a giant piece of crap and I always do this and blah, 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 blah. Or it could be worse than that. It could be better than that. I don't know. Or it could be, I shouldn't have done that because now I messed everything up and I always mess everything up and this is who I am and blah, 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 whatever. Okay. I want you to hear those thoughts. Okay. So for the next 2 weeks, you just hear those thoughts. You do nothing else. Okay. At about the 2-week level, I want you to pull one of those thoughts down and listen to it like clearly, because you're not used to doing that, but I want you to do that. I want you to pull this thought down and I want you to hear it. I want you to hear your ego basically say, I'm a piece of crap. That's basically what it's saying. But it's like, it's going to say, I shouldn't have said that because now I hurt someone's feelings and what was I thinking? And I always do this and blah, blah, blah. Let it say its whole spiel. Okay. Do not ever tell it to shut up. Something that is a very big misconception about changing your thought process is to tell your ego to shut up. Don't ever, ever do that, no matter who tells you that. Never, ever confront your ego. Your ego is much more powerful than you realize, and your ego is there to protect you. You should honor your ego. It is a beautiful thing. It's just doing what it thinks you want, okay? Don't ever tell your ego to shut up. It will get stronger,
There's
louder.
111 people watching right now, just for
Oh,
universal
nice.
validation. I thought that was very funny.
That's awesome.
Universal proof of this message.
Good.
But
yeah. Okay. So yeah. So don't ever confront your ego. Don't ever tell your ego to shut up. Don't ever, ever, ever do that. Okay, because that will actually make you spiral. That's where a lot of coaches go wrong. Okay, don't ever tell someone to do that. Because your ego will flare and then it will attack you, basically. So what you want to do is you want to listen to the negative thought. At the end of the negative thought, you want to add something at the end. You want to say, so the negative thought is like, I shouldn't have done this because now I messed everything up. I'm a giant piece of crap, blah, 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 blah. And then at the end, you want to say, actually, I should have done that because. So when you use the word because, it acts as a bridge to something else. And your brain will never let you end a sentence on because. It will always fill something in. So you'll say, your brain will automatically say, well, I shouldn't have said that because now I hurt someone's feelings and I'm a terrible person and blah, blah, blah. And then I want you to just add, actually, I should have said that because it was the right thing to say. It was the thing that I should have done, blah, 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 whatever. Like you will just fill in something positive. Okay. So then after you do that once, now you've done it once, now keep trying to grab those thoughts. Every time you hear them, just grab them out of your brain basically, and just let the ego always say the negative thing. And then at the end of the negative thing, you say, actually, I should have done that because, and then fill in the blank. Actually, I should have said that because, and then you fill in the blank. Okay. Now, let me tell you what happens when you do this, okay? In about 6 months, I always say it takes 6 months for me to implement any new concepts, okay? It takes a full year for it to become my new process, but it takes about 6 months for me to solidly understand what I'm doing and internalize it, like embody it, okay? So at about 6 months, you're gonna have a thought one day, just randomly, where you go, I don't remember the last time I put myself down. That's so weird, And then at about a year, you will never put yourself down again. You won't do that anymore. So what will happen is this will actually raise your vibration, because you will stop telling yourself that you're a piece of crap and you will start telling yourself that you're amazing. And so what happens is, you're so used to saying, I do everything wrong and I say everything wrong and I'm wrong, I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Well, your ego just thinks that that's what you want to say. So when you start overriding that, not overriding it, but you start adding positive at the end, your ego starts noticing that you're doing that all the time, because you're doing it as a pattern after a while, And when your ego starts noticing that, it starts saying, oh, she wants to say positive things, or he wants to say positive things. And so your ego actually stops saying the negative and starts saying the positive. And because it starts doing what you want it to do, because it starts to feel normal and it starts to feel comfortable, because your ego is all about comfort, keeping you in your comfort zone. Okay, so at 6 months, you'll notice, oh, I don't put myself down anymore. At a year, if somebody puts you down, I always say it feels like they just called you a purple elephant, because you're like, I'm not a purple elephant. But if they say that to you right now, like if someone said to me right now, and I was in that state of mind, if they said, oh, you always say the wrong thing, I would either agree with them out loud or internally. I would be like, you're right, I'm a piece of crap. That's basically what I would do. But now, since I do this, anytime that anyone says anything negative to me about me, I look at them like they're crazy, first of all. And then I say, that's ridiculous. I don't even accept it, because my vibration does not allow it anymore. People don't say crappy things to me anymore. They say crappy things about me sometimes, but they don't say crappy things to me, because
People's opinions have nothing to do with us. They can say whatever they want. It doesn't make a difference.
Yeah. But this, yep. I promise you that if you practice this all the time, in a year, you will love yourself. You will start loving yourself, and you will start vibrating at a level where other people can love you back, because that's really what the problem is. Like, we're always looking for outside solutions to internal problems. And as soon as you start loving yourself, other people can actually love you for real. So, so
beautifully said, Tami. Thank you for that.
So I'm saying that for Matt, because that's where I'm feeling him at. Okay. That's why I said that. Okay. Because that's where I was intuitively feeling that he needed. Okay. So hopefully that helps.
That was a beautiful reading for Matt. Thank you.
Okay, good.
We'll do one more. We'll do for Sequoia. I just posted your link for everybody. I told you're doing these on Fridays, right? So people that didn't get a reading today, if you guys follow her page, which I just shared a link for, if you didn't get a reading today, you can either book a reading with her through TamiLoPresti.com, or you can go to her Facebook page and join in on one of her lives on Friday. Sequoia's been asking since the beginning, though, so I'm going to get hers in there. There's Sequoia's. Thank you for your questions, honey. We love you, Matt, by the way. Just wanted to say that.
He has great numbers. I know I only focus on one, but he has great numbers. So.
I'm not surprised he's got great numbers.
Yeah. Okay, so 4, 2. Okay, Sequoia, you're also on your last life. Sequoia, you're here making the world a better place for you having been here. You're doing it on a physical level, so people are seeing it.
Yay.
You have the same life path as me, which is so funny because that is so rare. Like, it's really rare, and I saw it twice today, so it's really rare. You clearly, Laura, you attract people with really high purposes, like, obviously.
That's why we're all here, you know? We're all part of the same collective to make a change. Yeah. I'm so proud of you guys.
What I've noticed, like, as like a collective of all the readings that we've done today, is that almost everybody here has a very strong mission, like a very high mission to raise the awareness, to help raise the awareness, which, you know, that's not always what I see, just so you know. Like,
I can imagine that, but this is a very special group of people. It's very apparent.
It really is, quite honestly, it is. Okay, so Sequoia, you are also the visionary. You are someone who sees the future somehow, and you have I used to say the gumption. I haven't said that in a while. I don't really like that word. It's a weird word.
I actually like the word gumption. My dad used to wear that word. He was born in 1921, though, so it's why I use that word. It's a good word.
It's the perfect word for the visionary, because the visionary is someone who sees it and then makes it happen. You know, like they actually pull the vision right out of their head into reality, you know. Nice. And as long as people support them and get behind them, they actually do really big things in the world. Sequoia, you are a parent or a teacher in this lifetime, probably both. You're definitely actively a teacher. You're a spiritual guide. You're very well connected. I'm going to talk about your one, actually. Okay, so the one is the crown chakra. It is your connection to God, source, or the higher power, whatever you consider that to be. It's also your connection to your higher self or your angels. They're the higher beings, okay? It's the white light energy. So you're someone who channels the white light through you, through your crown chakra into your body. You combine that with your heart energy because you're a very heart-driven person. That comes from the 2. That is the heart chakra. So you take that white light, you combine it with the heart, and then you are someone who fills yourself up with love and radiates that love. You are someone who is so well connected to source that you always feel source with you. Like, you feel like you have a sidekick best friend, and you are someone who is very, very well guided and very well protected, and you feel that. You do have some confusion around your emotions. You also have some confusion about where you want to be. So you're kind of like, I don't know how I feel. I don't also know where I want to be, but I know that I want to change the world. So that's basically how you're being driven. You're being driven to go all over the place, it feels like to me. It feels like you are, I want to say you're a traveler, or you want to be a traveler. I feel like you go a lot of places, though. I don't feel like you stay stationary. I don't know if you have a ground to you. I don't feel the ground, but not that you're not grounded. I just don't feel the ground under your feet. I feel like you are someone who is just touching so many people in so many directions, you know, and you're definitely, you're here as a guide and a teacher and a leader, and you're doing it from your heart. So you're someone who is always in touch with your why. So hopefully that makes sense.
It does. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, you have a lot of beautiful people here. It's awesome. So
yeah, if you guys, I want to make sure that they have your page. I'm going to post it one more time for those of you
okay,
who would like to follow Tami, and that way you can make sure that you don't miss her live. That's going to happen Friday.
So I do my lives every Friday at 6 p.m. Central Time in my group, in my Facebook group. I also have a spiritual membership, a spiritual wisdom membership. You can find all this on my my website. But basically, the spiritual wisdom membership, we practice a different thing each month. So like this month in December, it is actually the first month because I just started it recently. This month we're practicing how to communicate with spirit guides, and I'm teaching people how to understand what repeating numbers are and how they work and things like that, how to ask for messages and get them and then understand them. And then next month we're going to do manipulating energy, where I actually teach this thing that I call it color projection. I don't really know what it's called, but it's where you actually can change people's moods with your intention and your energy. And so I'm teaching that next month, and we're going to do like the rice experiment, and we're going to do like cool energy experiments and stuff. But we do a different thing every month, and then communication with loved ones is after that, so loved ones on the other side. Sorry.
That sounds so exciting. You can come back and tell us about it if you want. And I could do a little promo event. Yeah.
It's
you
really
totally
fun.
should.
It's really fun stuff. So anyway, yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Do you have any questions or anything?
Not at the moment, but I'm sure I'll message you. And if anybody else has questions, just make sure you follow Tami. If you see the link I just shared, make sure you give her a follow on her Facebook and check out her website where you can book readings and all of that as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Tami. This has been, it really is. It's such a joy, and we learned so much from you. We're so blessed. Thank you very much.
I learn a lot from you too. You're amazing. You are so full of knowledge. Like, holy crap.
I just don't watch TV really. Most people, they spend a lot of time watching TV. I just read books and watch YouTube is really where all my knowledge comes from. But it's worth it. I love it. So just to give a little heads up, Daniela would like me to mention these. Today, there's going to be the Laura Whitworth event. It's 3 p.m. Laura Whitworth will be on Divinate at 3 p.m. EST. So make sure that you guys are on Divinate. You don't want to miss Laura. And then you also have a 7:30 p.m. EST. Daniela will be doing practical spirituality. She'll be talking about the importance of grounding, clearing, uplifting, and protecting. And she'll also be doing a Q&A. So be sure to check out Divinate, guys, 3 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. And I just love you all. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we'll see the rest of you guys tomorrow. Have a good day. Thank you again, Tami.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye.